Hello, my name is Tudor and I'm Principal Landscape Architect with the Sheffield City Council. We wanted to take this opportunity to talk through some of the options and ideas we're looking at for a new green play space in the city centre. The park itself would be located directly in the city centre within the Heart of the City project area and really forms part of a series of pedestrianised streets and spaces that together start to really link up many of the activity spaces within the centre. It's a roughly similar size to what the Peace Gardens is currently, so we'll really hopefully provide a significant new play space and opportunity for the area. I really hope that this new opportunity for the park sort of shows the evolution of the city's thinking in the recent years in terms of our thinking on sustainable design and hopefully really the environmental awareness about what our streets and spaces can give back to us and the environment. I think the ideas behind the design are building on the city's development ideas of climate change resilience and adaptation by using more urban greening to help provide those benefits to us and the environment and the urban biodiversity. Pull this slide up a little bit just to show some of the sort of the I suppose the principles in terms of where we're heading with design and placemaking in the city centre spaces. Promoting that setting that helps support economic regeneration is a really important part of changing the face of the city centre spaces, I guess. But building and nurturing those urban environments and the neighbourhoods and the communities that we're hoping to sort of see develop and flourish in the city centre spaces, and really supporting that from a sociability point of view, but also the well-being side of things as well. City greening has been a huge part of the evolution of Sheffield really in the last 20 years, and using that research-based horticultural principles on a more ecologically based sound footing is something we really want to sort of see and look to those benefits that all that stuff can bring really. And of course the city resilience, the adaptation brings along with it the multifunctional biological processes that we can talk a little bit more about in the future. Sustainable solutions and the increased urban diversity is something which we really want to see work for the city. It's obviously the context is in a harder urban environment, but we really want to build on any opportunity we can to help the pollinators and invertebrates that are in such decline today. And really to sort of pull all this stuff together, something that's been a really, along with the horticultural elements of our public spaces, something that's been a really consistent part of what we've done for public realm in the city has been that craftsmanship and celebrating art and quality that brings beauty into these spaces and adds a value to a public realm space. That art craft element is something that's really crucial to making sure that we achieve a great looking space. And I think, there's an example there of the Greater Green Phase 1 project, which is really well established now, but it's looking at those principles about what can we do. That was a very hard, grey, dual carriageway environment originally, and something that's reminiscent of what we're looking at for the park space at the moment, a hard surface level car park environment, which has no interest at all other than being able to park your car on. So, what we are looking at for this scheme going forward is creation of high quality public space that really hopefully goes above and beyond what is expected from traditional urban city centre park spaces. And this isn't just another city centre space. I'm really hoping that we can fully support the people living in the area at the moment with this, but also encourage visitors back into the city centre, helping perhaps try to rebuild that confidence in our urban spaces. And I think this will be in part through using play and leisure as a real sort of tool to attract the people back, and using that as a significant element of that. And really just sort of looking at where we've been on the journey with the outdoor economy and the outdoor city ethos as well, and can we bring that and reflect those elements into the city centre spaces as well, perhaps through the leisure, through the climbing opportunities that we can provide in the park. So you can see from this little sketch diagram, which we were doing when we were sort of starting to look at the evolution of the spaces within the Heart of the City area, And I think Area 1 is an early sort of idea about the spatial makeup of the park space, but it ended up becoming a slightly larger space than what we're showing there. But the one thing I wanted to show you on this plan was really how we were trying to sort of show all the spaces and how they start to form and link together, both in the immediate areas that you can see there, but also obviously into the wider spaces that link Devonshire Green, Peace Gardens and so on as well. So it's just trying to make all these spaces work as one, to, I guess, give you a better overall opportunity to have a much bigger impact of green in the areas. And also I think a traditional approach to spatial creation is, when you're looking at new buildings, is to use the buildings to form the spaces. And on this one I was just hoping that we could actually achieve something where it's actually the wider connected spaces actually form the main framework and the buildings sit within the landscapes. So it was sort of looking at the whole idea about sort of spatial creation on a slightly different sort of footing, really. And I think from day one, this has been really something which is, this has to be seen as a space that's for everybody, from families looking for space for their children to play within, shoppers wanting to take a bit of a break from using the city centre retail offer, but also workers taking time out, enjoying their lunch, and friends meeting up for socialising and so on. It's not purely an attractive place, although I really hope that it becomes a beautiful environment that's healthy and fresh. But it's providing a genuine hub for activity and interaction for people of Sheffield. And I think attracting the people back into the city centre and hopefully developing a real strong user group for these spaces. I think play has a huge part to play within this opportunity, really. And it's again not just about swings and slides on a traditional based approach. Can we look at being much more creative, imaginative, and providing real educational offer of play about how people work and interact with sand and water play? I think it'd be a great opportunity for the city to have a much wider base offer for the future. And also looking at the more adventurous opportunities as well. It also provides scale and drama, but pieces which are really significant in their own right, I think have an opportunity to be part of this scheme as well. From a visual point of view and connecting the park to other areas of the city, we want to continue to build on Sheffield's genuine sense of place and unique character across the city centre spaces, helping make the city centre really feel identifiably Sheffield. And I think this is something that really did sort of start that ball rolling in terms of the Peace Gardens and the associated activities and the green space, the lawns, the planted spaces, the tree planting. All of those things sort of started with the Peace Gardens and has continued as that sense of identity for the city moving forward. I would like to think that the park will provide an act as a linking space that helps to sort of pull all the different elements of the city centre redevelopment opportunities together, really, whether it's the heart of the city, the more shopping district areas, Division Street offer, John Lewis and the established uses, and really just coordinate a theme back to the Peace Gardens, helping share that city centre approach and activity use. And I hope it's seen as a continuation of the world-class public realm we already have developed across the city centre spaces, whether it's the Peace Gardens, as mentioned, the greater green corridors of West Bar and Castlegate, or the Charter Square projects, and as you can see here, and the links that provides down through to the more retail shopping spine as well. It's all those opportunities that we have to sort of make this a properly coordinated and thought through city centre series of spaces. And I think not to forget as well that one of the other opportunities that we have in the city now for the park space is on Rockingham Street, and to provide an attractive, active, open and safe environment that supports the ambitions for moving the bus stops from Pinson Street to Rockingham Street in some respects, and just providing that really good offer of while people wait or get off the buses, an attractive welcome to the city centre spaces. I think it's another important part of how we see the public space developing out. So looking at some of the benefits of the park and the park ideas being a green and blue space, and as well as helping build on that setting that encourages the investment and stimulates interest from potential tenants in the future, we are exploring these multi-beneficial, multifunctional approaches to how we can achieve these benefits for the city and the people and the environment as well through developing out these green and blue infrastructural changes. I think sort of list them in very quick order, I suppose, really, but helping provide that healthier city centre climate with cleaner air and helping reduce those negative elements of the heat island effect during some of the extreme temperatures in the summertime. Looking at using extensively sustainable drainage features and active approaches to how we sort of deal with water and rainfall in the park space, and that's something we're rolling out across the whole city centre spaces at the moment, creating these sort of sponge-like landscapes which help to reduce the potential of future flooding and just allow these spaces to sort of deal with their own rainwater in their own right. And I think not to forget, the value that you can get from health and well-being benefits for ourselves, just immersing yourself on a daily basis into these sort of styles of planting really can have quite huge restorative effects. And just attracting people to want to walk more through these landscapes actually just obviously helps in terms of getting people moving about a bit more as well. So as well as all the environmental benefits, there is tons of research at the moment really starting to focus in on how these urban dense spaces, if greened and blued, can provide huge benefits for human beings. And not to forget all this beautiful colour, beautiful extended interest through seasons, through spring, summer, autumn, really pushing flowering species almost into the winter months as well, just helps to increase that potential benefits to the urban biodiversity as well, for pollinators, for insects generally, looking at food plants beneficial to them, just that nectar, the wider range of nectar offer through those extra seasons as well, all boosts the benefits to biodiversity generally. So I think this is again another really strong element that we really should be supporting in our urban spaces. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview of and an insight, I guess, into some of the thinking that's going behind some of the early stages of design for the Green Space Park in the city centre within the Part of the City project areas. I think it'd be great if we can get your feedback on this stuff. Any comments, queries, questions. I think it all sort of goes together to make a much more valuable piece of work and helps to sort of inform the design process as it moves forward. So yeah, please get back to us with anything that you may have. Thanks for wanting to be involved. Cheers now. Bye.